George Bush won 2 elections. So how is it 4 out of the 5? I don't get her math, really. And I don't know why Paul Ryan is in there. Yeah, I know. Why is he cowering from? Look, hey, Miss Couric, yes, the Republican Party over the last, 3 presidents, if you want to go that way. Well, actually, the last 4 presidents has been split. There's been 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, and the Democrats have only served 1 more term than the Republicans over the last 4 presidents. Because George H.W. Bush was only a 1-termer. So Clinton and Obama are 2-termers, but Bush Jr. was a 2-termer. So they're only up on us by 4 years. That's historical fact correction number 1. Historical fact correction number 2, Miss Couric, as you're so focused on the president, what about since 2010, the Democrats have lost a total of more than 1,300 seats across this country? Now, I think that's a bit more significant than just losing the presidency once or twice. Excuse me? Over the past 6 years, you guys have lost over 1,300 seats. In other words, more than 1,300 Democrats were forced out into the private sector. Now, Mr. Ryan, I don't know why you're sitting there. Yeah, I know. It's terrible. It's so embarrassing that we've lost, the presidency so many times. I can't believe it. Screw that. Turn it around. They lost 1,300 seats. Let's be honest. I cannot stand this whimpery. I hate to use this guy as an example, but does anybody think that Vladimir Putin would have sat there and laughed with Katie on that? Or do you think that he would have come back with the stats and figures of the whole picture, of the big picture, the reality of everything? Yes, Katie? Yes, Obama won 2 terms and Clinton won 2 terms. But as you can see, Katie, the Democrats have lost 1,300 of your seats. I don't understand why Ryan doesn't come. Playing nice with these people just does not work. They're not going to like you. When is the GOP ever going to figure this out? They're not going to like you. One of the things that I've been interviewed for publications and on other people's shows quite often over the years. A lot over the past year. And no, they all haven't been, pro Rod Eccles. They all haven't been so unsupernaturally friendly. And I understand that. And I don't look to just talk to people who agree with me 100%. But I tell you what, if you're going to ask me a question, and the question is going to be that stupid and inane like that, I'm going to straighten it out on you. I'm going to reframe it so people fully understand the full facts. Yes, Katie, you're correct. Well, first of all, she's 4 out of 5. She's incorrect in that. But yes, Katie, you're correct. However, if you actually look at the numbers, out of the last 5 presidents, Republicans have held the office 3 times and Democrats only twice. Ronald Reagan, George H.W., and George W. Bush versus Clinton and Obama. Last 5 presidents. So 3 out of 5 of the last 5 presidents have been Republicans. Now, Katie, you also have to understand this. Out of the last 4 presidents, we're only down 1 election. In other words, Bill Clinton was elected twice. Barack Obama was elected twice. George W. Bush was elected twice. George H.W. Bush was only elected once to the office. But that's not the real test, Katie. The real test to your inaccurate statement is that Democrats have lost 1,300 seats across this country over the past 6 years since the 2010 midterm elections. And not only have the Republicans regained the House, but we also regained the Senate. And in 2014, we increased our lead in both the House and the Senate. So at this particular point, in this particular juncture, I don't think the Republican Party is on the decline. I think we're on the increase because all across this nation, people are turning out Democrats. And right now, the Democrats do not have a contest for their nomination. The Republicans are having a vibrant contest and a vibrant discussion about who should be their nominee and who's eventually going to lead this country. It's not on the Democrat side. I just want to clarify that for you, Katie. That is what Paul Ryan should have said. That is what a leader really says when he's clearly thinking and thinking for himself, and he's truly a Republican conservative. That is not Speaker Paul Ryan. Let's see if we can get through. This might take me 3 hours to analyze, folks, so hold on.
But by many accounts, Mr. Speaker, the GOP seems to be having a bit of an identity crisis. And
hold it. Stop it. Who's having the identity crisis? The GOP has always been, well, the past 30 years has always been this way. You've got people that want to be conservative, constitutional conservatives, and you've got the big party, big government platform part of the GOP. They've always been butting heads. Look, the GOP didn't like Ronald Reagan. This is no different. The people that have no identity are the Democrats because they're out there trying to out-Democrat each other. I got some stuff here on, speaking of Democrats, on the grumpy old uncle from Vermont. Do you know that they're not focusing on him right now about this gun debate? Do you know why? Because he doesn't support, believe it or not, Bernie Sanders is not fully behind all this wonderful gun confiscation that everybody thinks that Bernie Sanders might be behind. Why? Because he's from the state of Vermont. Do you know you don't need a license to have a gun? People run around in Vermont still with rifles in the back of their trucks. He knows, even in liberal Vermont, that if he were to come out against guns, he'd be booted from office. But those people are serious about their guns, which is really kind of odd coming from a liberal, a state, blue state like Vermont. They have really liberal, lax gun laws, and they have very little gun crime, by the way. I know the population isn't huge in Vermont. What is it, 700,000 people? I know it's not a huge population base, but they have very little gun crime in Vermont. Why? Because you don't know who's got one. And so Bernie Sanders is not going to go on this anti-gun push, knowing that his own state is pro-gun, even for a liberal state. Which is really some strange dichotomy that I still can't figure out. So the ones who cannot figure out who they are and what their identity is are the Democrats, because they can't even tell you the difference between a socialist and a Democrat. I just want to tell you that I am for this and I am for that. But that's not answering my question. What's the difference between a Democrat and a socialist? And that question has been asked by more than one Democrat. To more than one Democrat. And none of them can answer it. So I don't know if they even know, or if they do know, do they want to admit it? Seems to me like the Democrats are the ones that are having an identity crisis. You ask a GOPer, well, no, I'm a true conservative. What's the difference between a conservative and a moderate? Oh, a conservative is something like Ted Cruz, a moderate something like Jeb Bush. You get an answer. Mitt Romney says, I'm a moderate. I'm a conservative moderate. I believe that I'm not going to be that extreme as a conservative. I'm going to be more moderate as a moderate conservative. There's no identity crisis there. Republicans know who they are and who they aren't. Now, obviously, we have some people that seem to switch, Paul Ryan bursts on the scene and you thought he was a fiscal conservative. Now you wonder, what the hell is he? What kind of moderate is this guy all of a sudden? He was never a moderate before. What the hell happened to him? Aliens came in and took over his brain. That's what happened to him. I don't know if somebody actually said that or not. I'm just putting it out there. For all you George Noory fans that listen to this program, there you go. There's my George Noory-esque thing. Some entity took over Paul Ryan's brain. Because that's not the Paul Ryan that was first elected to Congress, a few years ago. I don't know who this Paul Ryan is. Well, maybe Paul Ryan has a personal identity crisis. Maybe that's what Katie Couric is trying to get at. Not the Republican Party as a whole, but just Paul Ryan. I don't. I don't know. Anyway. Paul Ryan. He needs to. Maybe he needs to. I just got a private. You guys should follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Just got laughing here because I got a Twitter message. Maybe Ryan needs to use Obamacare and go to the doctor and have that alien exercise. Well, I think exorcism is a religious thing. And religion is not allowed in Obamacare, but they got a point. That's it. Paul Ryan has been possessed by liberal demons, and he needs a Catholic Church. That's what happened to John Boehner. John Boehner was possessed by liberal demons, and when he met the Pope for the first time, and when the Pope came to the United States, the Pope exorcised the liberal demon from Boehner's body. And Boehner saw what he had done while under being possessed and felt so ashamed that he had to resign. He thought the only thing that he could do was to resign. So you may be on to something. Maybe is Paul Ryan Catholic? I don't know. But he's probably Presbyterian or something like that. But, maybe Paul Ryan needs to be exercised. Very good. You listeners, sometimes you guys are very astute. You really are. Because I didn't, that could possibly explain Boehner's behavior. It really could. Think about it. I mean, the man was all about being, working with being this moderate and stuff. Basically, and not doing it. We don't have the votes, and we don't have and he had all the votes and powers that he needed to do whatever the House needed to do, and he wouldn't do it. And then all of a sudden, the Pope comes to town, and the Pope leaves, and Boehner's like all teary-eyed crying, and he's always crying, but now he's really teary-eyed crying. I got to resign now. I'm going to retire. I don't know what I did. I don't know. I got to go. And then he's gone. So you got to wonder if maybe the Pope did exercise. Catholic healthcare. Speaking of healthcare, from there's some news about healthcare that I'm going to get into, try to make it into the program this afternoon or this morning. But healthcare insurance, you like a lot of people, they want to say no to healthcare insurance, this Obamacare crapola. Well, I don't blame you. But you're afraid of being penalized, aren't you? You don't. Well, right now the penalty is a lot less than the cost of buying into the Obamacare healthcare system, but that's going to change unless the law is repealed. So you got to set yourself up now. You don't want to be penalized with this mandated stuff, and you don't want to have to take this poor mandated stuff, but the government wants you to think that you have no choice and that they're going to come and punish you. Fear and intimidation. So in other words, the government is saying either you pay up or you pay out. That's what's being said. Well, there's a great way to say hell no to all of that, and you can find out by visiting StopObamacareTaxNow.com. Find out more. Again, that's www.stopobamacaretaxnow.com, and find out how you can say hell no to Obamacare. Take healthcare back into your own responsibility where it belongs and out of the hands of government, and still keep a little bit of money in your wallet. Don't let the government rape your wallet anymore. Just take a stand. Not only vote, but just go to the website, get some more information. Folks, we got 2 more hours to go, so hang in there. We'll be right back.